Hi everyone, in this video we'll go through a few important problem types that can help you prepare better. So here's the package for 70 marks. I've divided the chapters which are easy scorers or which can help you, score better in this order. So the ones that is highlighted here, the ones that is colored in pink are the ones that can give you the best scorers, right? So there are 8 chapters which can help you with majority of the scores. And you'll have to be thorough with these chapters, right? All 1 marker, 2 marker, 5 markers. You need to be thorough with all the problems of these chapters. So that can help you in scoring good marks. So if you look at partial fractions, you have a 5 marker. In parabola, 6 marks. Mathematical logics carries 9 marks. Linear programming, 5 marks. Learning curve, 6 marks. Matrices, you have it for 15 marks. You can easily target 10 marks. This 5 marks is for matrix method. I put a circle here to indicate that this matrix method is prone to mistakes, right? There's a high chance of going wrong with the matrix multiplication. So that's why this 5 marker slightly becomes tricky, right? If you do not do any mistakes, it's an easy one. But in case matrix multiplication goes wrong, then we tend to lose marks here. That's why I've put 10 marks out of 15. Continuity, you can take 3 marks, 1 from part A and 2 marker from part B in the continuity section. Binomial theorem, again, you can score 9 marks from binomial theorem, right? So these 8 chapters, if prepared smartly and thoroughly, right, can help you in getting close to 50 plus marks. Then you can take probability and ratio proportion. You can try to solve 1 marker and 2 markers from probability and ratio and proportions. And then all these chapters, right, you can look at 1 markers so that you can get 10 marks easily. This way, you can score 70 marks. We'll go through each of these chapters and the key questions. Now, this particular package is to get complete out of out, right? To get 100 marks without calculus. Now, this is just one of the combination of chapters which you can choose to prepare for 100 marks. You can have your own choice of chapters and topics and prepare for 100 marks. This is just one of the ideas. Partial fractions, parabola, mathematical logic, linear programming, learning curve, matrices, continuity, binomial theorem, probability, ratio proportion, circles, bill discounting, stocks and shares, sales tax, compound angles, permutations. So totally 15 chapters you need to be thorough with, right? So that you are able to attempt all the questions. And then for calculus, you can prepare only the 1 markers. Differential calculus, integral calculus, application of derivatives, you can target 1 markers. Otherwise, every other chapter, that is the remaining 15 chapters need to be, studied thoroughly to score 100. Now, this is one option where you can still get out of out with calculus included, right? If you include calculus, what happens is you have a lot of questions coming from calculus, which will make it easier to score good marks. The advantage with calculus is the number of steps is less. You can solve the problems quickly. It will save a lot of time during exam. The possibility of calculation errors is less, right? So that's a big advantage with respect to calculus. And at the same time, the number of questions that come from calculus is many, right? For example, from differential calculus and integral calculus together, you get 16 marks, right? Just with these 2 chapters, you'll get 16 marks. And then application of derivatives, you'll get 9 marks. So totally with calculus itself, you'll get 25 marks, right? So it's a high scorer. Now, other than calculus, you'll have to prepare for partial fractions, parabola, mathematical logic, linear programming, learning curve, matrices, continuity, binomial theorem, right? And permutations. Probability and ratio proportion, again, you can look at 1 marker and 2 marker. So that way you need to be thorough with 13 chapters. And for probability, you need to learn 1 marker and 2 markers. For ratio and proportion, again 1 marker. Stocks and shares, sales tax and compound angles, all 1 markers. This way, again, you can attempt all 100 marks in the paper. Now let's go through chapter-wise key questions, right? First one is partial fractions. Easy scorer, right? Very, very simple and very, very easy, right? Partial fractions easily can give you 5 marks. Right? There's only 1 question asked in partial fractions in the entire paper. That's in part D, right? This is in part D for 5 marker. So you will have questions like, resolving it into partial fractions. Here are a few examples, right? Just to give an idea of how the questions will be. Linear programming. Again, very simple, easy scorer. Again, this comes in 5 marker and in part D. So questions are like, you have to maximize, right? They would be giving you the function and the inequalities. You'll have to plot the graph and figure out the feasible region and get the final maximum value or minimum value based on what they've asked. Mathematical logic, again, This is very simple. Many questions come from mathematical logic. You have 2 questions of 1 marker in part A and 2 marker and 5 marker. All of them are simple. If you are thorough with the truth tables of all the 5 connectives, then this chapter is the simplest one. You have conjunction, disjunction, conditional, biconditional, and not. If you are thorough with these 5 concepts, right, then this chapter is very easy. The 5 marker question is like this. Verify whether the proposition is a tautology, contradiction, or neither, right? So a proposition will be given like this. You'll have to come up with a truth table, right? And then you have to look at, based on these propositions, you'll have to look at if all the values are true. If all the values are true, then it's tautology, right? If all the values are false, then it's contradiction. If there is a mix of true and false, then it's neither. So this way you have to conclude an easy 5 marker. The other one would be, you have to check if the propositions given are logically equivalent. That is, the proposition given here, the truth values coming out of this proposition and truth values coming out of this proposition, you have to see if the truth values are same. If it is same, it's called as logically equivalent. Again, this is a 5 marker. So both these topics are very important. Then you have questions in the 1 marker, right? The truth value of each of the proposition P and Q would be given. You need to find the truth value of this compound proposition. The other one is, you should be able to symbolize the propositions. That means you have to put it in symbolic form. You'll have to say 2 numbers are equal, can be proposition P. Squares are not equal, could be not Q. Since there is if and then, it will be P conditional not Q. Then, again, very important question. Write the converse, inverse and contrapositive of one particular proposition. That is, if the questions are easy, then students score better marks. So you should be able to come up with converse, inverse and contrapositive. Very simple. And then again, in 1 marker, you might get negation of proposition, right? How to negate the entire proposition. Using negation laws, you can negate the propositions. Again, simple 1 marker. Next one is circles. So in part E, in 6 marker section, you'll get one standard question, right? You have to show that the points, 4 points would be given. You have to show that these points are concyclic. Very simple, but these problems are lengthy, right? You'll have to use 3 equations, find G, find F, find C, and then prove that the 4th point is concyclic. Lengthy problem, but again, easy scorer, 6 marks. Then in 1 marker section, few examples are point circle would be given. Point circle is a circle where the radius is 0. It is just a point, simple. Point circle is nothing but a point. Obviously, there is no radius, it's 0, right? Using the circle equation, you can figure out what is the value of K. And here, equation of point circle, you'll have to come up with equation of point circle, center is given. Again, you'll have to use the standard circle formula and then choose the correct answer. Parabola. Parabola, again, easiest chapter. Only thing is, you need to identify what kind of parabola it is. Is it upward, downward, left-handed, right-handed? Once you know what kind of parabola it is, it's easy to answer any of these questions. You have to find the equation of the parabola given the axis, given the point, right? Or you have to find the focus, directrix, or you have to find the latus rectum coordinates, or you have to find the length of latus rectum, right? So all of these questions are simple to solve if you know the concepts of parabola well. There are revision videos or one-shot videos for most of these chapters. So if you want to have a quick revision before exams, then you can refer revision series playlist. And if you found this video useful so far, don't forget to press limits and continuity. Now, limits is a big chapter, but continuity is very simple, right? There will be one question from continuity, which is of this type. Find the k if the function is given like this, right? And it is continuous at x is equal to 1. Functions like this, right, are very simple. And the problems are quite small. You have standard fixed number of steps, which you'll have to repeat for every problem. But all you have to do is remember a few formulas, right? Limits, I agree. There are a lot of exercises, lot of problems, lot of formulas. But if you can focus on continuity, it's really an easy one. And then in 1 marker sections, you will get a problem like this. Normally, this will be straightforward. You'll have to apply the standard formula, right? Standard theorem, limits theorem, x to the power n minus a to the power n by x minus a is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. Or you'll get problems where you'll have to use this particular theorem, sin theta by theta is equal to 1, right? So it will be straightforward, or you'll have to simply substitute. Whatever limit value is given here, you need to substitute as x value and then get the answer. In the part E section, right? In the part E section, you'll have to prove one of these theorems. Either it will be sine theta by theta or this particular theorem where x to the power n minus a to the power n by x minus a is equal to n into x to the power n minus 1. So one of these theorems. Again, this particular theorem is not tough, but only thing is you'll have to really be careful. You'll have to understand every step and remember every step, right? There is a video on derivation of limits theorem. You can probably refer that video if you want to attempt this particular question. Binomial theorem. Now again, this will give 9 marks if you can prepare for all these topics. Finding middle term, finding independent term or constant term, finding the coefficient, right? One of these questions, very important. If you can prepare for all these kind of problems, it will be easy. There is a tips and tricks video for binomial theorem. With that tips and tricks, it will be easy to solve this binomial expansions. Otherwise, this is normally prone to mistakes. But if you follow the tips and tricks, there will never be any mistake, right? And again, in part E, you will have a 4 marker, which is decimal expansion, right? You just have to, multiply this number 5 times. You'll get the answer in the calculator itself. But you have to do this using binomial expansion. The best part of this particular problem is you can use the calculator, get the answer and see if you've got the right answer using binomial theorem. Again, this is an easy 4 marker. There is a video that gives tips and tricks for binomial expansion that may help you so that, binomial expansion becomes easy and lesser prone to mistakes. Learning curve. So this comes in part D, which is a 5 marker. Again, not much of calculations. You'll have to just apply learning effect and the number of units and find the labor cost given rate per hour, right? So this is easy one. And in the 1 marker section, you'll get some definitions. So prepare for all the definitions in the learning curve, right? Learning index, learning curve ratio, learning curve equation, right? Prepare for all the definitions in learning curve. So it will be an important 1 marker. Matrices and determinants. Again, big chapter. 15 marks you'll get from matrices and determinants, right? So you could have 3 marker questions like this, right? Matrices are given ABC. You need to evaluate this particular expression or this particular expression. Multiply the matrices A, B, take the transpose of it, and then take transpose of matrix B, transpose of matrix A, multiply it and see if both are equal. Or you can get matrices like this where you have to find x and y. You have to find the value of x and y, right? Or find A minus 3B like this. Or find 5 A transpose. Or you could get a singular matrix or a skew matrix, right? It could be a skew matrix or singular matrix. Any of that, you'll have to find the value of x, right? And simple determinant property related problems, right? If all the elements in a row or column of a determinant are zeros, then the value of determinant is 0, obviously, right? These are questions on determinant properties, easy one. Then solve using matrix method. This is a 5 marker that comes in part D, standard problem type, but you need to be careful with the matrix multiplication because there's a possibility of errors, right? And because of this mistakes or errors, right, the entire problem can go wrong. So there is one video on matrix multiplication techniques. Also, I've come up with few more techniques of how to do a matrix multiplication and be lesser prone to mistakes. I'll try to prepare a video on that exclusively for matrix multiplication tricks. And then you have another repeated question, which is Cramer's rule, right? Very simple, Cramer's rule. So you can practice this. This is a 3 marker. The next one is application of definite integrals. Now, this comes in part D for 5 marker. Actually, this is a very simple question. Generally, people are, concerned when it comes to calculus. But in the entire calculus, this particular question related to application of definite integrals is very straightforward. It has been repeated multiple times in multiple exams. If possible, right? Only if you could learn this particular problem, right? These kind of problem types where you have to find area enclosed between a parabola and the line or enclosed between 2 parabolas. If you could find the area, if you could just look at the steps of this particular problem. There is a particular video on application of definite integrals. It's a short video, very, very short video, I think 10 or 12 minutes. It will just talk about all these kind of related problems. So if you are interested, you can look at this problem. Steps are simple. If you could solve this, yeah, then this is a easy 5 marker. Then you have problems in the 2 marker section, right? You'll have to find the integral and then apply these limits, lower limit and the upper limit. Again, this integral would be easy, right? You have to directly apply the standard integral and then apply the limits. Then comes application of derivatives. Now there are few standard questions in this chapter. If the cost function is given, right, find the average cost or find the marginal cost, right? These are 1 markers. So easy, standard question. Cost function is given or revenue function would be given, find the average cost, marginal cost, or average revenue, marginal revenue, right? Standard question. Now, here are other problems which are 1 marker and 2 marker from other chapters. For example, from stocks and shares, this is a standard question. What income can be obtained from rupees 3,600 in 5% stock at 90, right? They would be giving you some value for income, some percentage, and some value for stock worth. You'll have to find income, right? Standard question from stocks and shares. Then from trigonometry, they would give you tan A, find tan 2A, or sin A, find cos 2A. Or they'll give you sin 2A and you'll have to find sin A, like this. This problem is related to permutations and combinations. Again, some word would be given. You'll have to find the number of arrangements you can do with respect to these words. Simple problem, 2 marker. Then few problems from ratio and proportions. These are again very simple. You have to find value of x given this proportion. Then what must be added to each term in the ratio 5:6 so that it becomes 8:9. Very repeated question, right? Then find the duplicate ratio, find the triplicate ratio. Then from probability, P by B would be given. You'll have to find P of A and B, or P of A by B, P of B by A. And then again from permutations and combinations, how many ways can 10 people be seated around a table? You'll have to use circular permutation formula, that is n minus 1 factorial. Then you can have definitions from bill discounting, right? You can have definitions from bill discounting. So go through all the definitions in bill discounting, be it banker's discount, true discount, banker's gain, right? Whatever definitions are there, just go through in bill discounting. And then again, this 1 marker coming from application of derivatives. Cost function is given. You need to find the marginal cost or average cost. Now, all the topics given here in this particular video cover up for 70 marks, add up to 70 marks. If you are thorough with all the topics given here in this particular video, you should be able to score easily 70 marks. So with this, I've come to the end of this particular video. If you found this video useful, do press a like and share it. Thank you.